Peace. What's happening, good people? This Gift here for Payusnomind, and this is a review video. Now today, we're reviewing the digital distributor Symphonic. Symphonic distribution. And Symphonic is different from your TuneCores and your Dittos and your DistroKid, where you just pay your money, pay a percentage, and just upload your music. No. Symphonic doesn't work like that. You have to apply. Fill out a form, submit, they review it, listen to your music, and decide whether they feel like it's a match and invite you to join the program. And that's the way it works with them. Now, what do you get outside of validation and that feeling of feeling better than all the other artists that might have been rejected when you get accepted into the Symphonic distribution program? We'll get to that a little bit later. But first, let's dive into the particulars of what Symphonic has to offer. Now, when it comes to what they're looking for when you submit, we get into that in the deep dive that we do on Symphonic, which you can view by becoming a member of the Payusnomind channel or just becoming a member of Payusnomind through the website, where you could go to payusnomind.info or click the link in the description box. Help keep honest media honest, baby. Now, what are the particulars of what Symphonic has to offer? Well, let's look at the price. How much does Symphonic charge? Symphonic does not charge anything up front. Instead, they take a percentage of your revenue. They take 15% of the revenue from your streams and downloads. And 15% is a nice chunk. So that means if you're making $100, they are taking $15 from you. If you are making $1,000, they're taking $150. If you are making $10,000, they're taking $1,500 from digital distribution. The more money you make, the more money you lose. So as your revenue increases, that 15% becomes more punitive. So if you're sacrificing a percentage, you definitely want to make sure that it's worth it to sacrifice that percentage. So you want to look at what are they doing. Now, when it comes to their offer, how does it shake down? When it comes to Content ID, you get Content ID, right? They do YouTube monetization through Content ID, and not only do they cover your sound recording, which is, your the part of the music that you push through with a digital distributor. That's what most distributors collect Content ID for. They also collect your revenue or revenue owed to you as a songwriter. So they collect the sound recording that you get as the owner of the master, and they collect publishing Content ID revenue for you as well, which you get as the person who wrote the song, as the songwriter. Now, they take 30% of the revenue that they collect from you for Content ID. Now, 30% is in line with other distributors like CD Baby, but then you got other distributors like a Ditto or a Lander that doesn't take anything. Now, when it comes to publishing Content ID revenue, you have Song Trust, which only takes 15% of Content ID revenue for Content ID revenue for publishing. So, that 30% of the publishing is kind of crazy too, especially considering the fact that Symphonic does offer publishing administration, and it is through Song Trust. Now, Symphonic with publishing administration, I appreciate the fact that they're not marking up the price. So it's not like they're charging you extra for publishing administration through Song Trust. It's the same $100 and 15% that Song Trust usually charges. They're not marking anything up. It's just more so like just pushing you through. So when you look at it and you say, okay, well, stores, how many stores does Symphonic get you into? They get you into pretty much all of the stores. They have a very vast number of stores, so you're not going to miss anything there. Everywhere you need to be and then some, you'll be there with Symphonic. So that's not a concern. The stores aren't a concern. You look at things like payment. They pay monthly, so every month you get a payout. Now, keep in mind that streaming platforms usually pay on a delay, so those royalties don't come in for like 2 months or whatever have you. So if you just sign up with Symphonic, you might have like a 2 or 3 month delay before you get a check. And then when you start getting payments, it'll be for like the previous 2 months, not like last month. You know, it might be for the month like 2 months behind or whatever, right? So keep that in mind. Now, they do have a payment threshold where they restrict you from withdrawing your money unless you have $50. So if you have under $50 in your account, you can't withdraw it. You can't take it out. It's stuck there. Now, I know that companies have reasons why they do stuff, where Symphonic might feel like, okay, well, maybe it costs them money to give you your money, and they don't want to keep paying the money that it costs them for those withdrawals if it's these tiny amounts. So they put a threshold. But at the same time, you have some companies that hold your money in an interest generating account where they're earning interest on your money, and you don't get any of that interest. You just get your $50 when you accrue $50. And that is something that I'm not so fond of, because usually they have a clause in their terms of agreement that state that you're not entitled to that interest and things of that nature. And I'll go through their terms and see if they have anything like that. But yeah, that's something I'm not too fond of. But moving along. Now, transaction fees. Transaction fees are, again, you guys have seen me talk about this before, the fees that companies like PayPal charge you to withdraw your money. So PayPal charges you 2.9% plus 30 cents of your transaction whenever you withdraw your money with most distributors. And what you want is a distributor that caps those transaction fees, which Symphonic does. They cap the transaction fees at $2. So no matter how much you withdraw from your account, you'll never pay more than $2 when you withdraw your money. And that is fantastic. They're capping it like TuneCore does and like DistroKid does. So that's fantastic, capping the transaction fees. Now, when you look at something like advances is something that Symphonic offers as well. They offer advances. They have not just one partner, they have a number of partners that they deal with issuing advances, and they recommend that you have at least $5,000 in revenue annually to submit for advances, which is way higher than TuneCore's, $875 annually. So TuneCore charges $875 annually. Symphonic charges wants you to make, not charges. TuneCore wants you to make $875 annually. Symphonic wants you to make $5,000 annually. That's a large amount. Now, it's not a requirement, it's a recommendation. Now, as I've seen with these types of things, that recommendation is more like a requirement, man. It's like the odds of you getting rejected if you don't make that amount are pretty high. Now, when it comes to some of these other offers that Symphonic has, like video distribution and marketing, they provide marketing support, advertising, they do graphic design work, branding, optimizing your socials, things of that nature. When it comes to those things, those are separate services. Like, you don't even need to be using Symphonic distribution to use those services. You could just pay and use those services by themselves, And even if you are within Symphonic distribution, you still have to pay for those services. They're not free to you. Now, when it comes to what's included with your digital distribution, like what would you be paying that 15% for? It's effectively playlists and placement. That's what they do. Playlists and placement. So they will pitch your music to their contacts at Spotify and to people that make popular playlists or playlists that can get you a look, get you some streams and stuff. They will pitch your music to these people, push you out to those types of playlist creators. They will pitch your music to Apple Music and Deezer and Amazon Music and stuff like that for priority placement and feature placement to get you, like, how those platforms have the homepage where they show the new releases and things like that. Try to get your music in those places where people who can open up the app and discover you. So it increases the likelihood of discovery. So those are the things that they are doing for you in exchange for that 15%. Now, going back to what makes it worth it, again, it's about what you got going on and how Symphonic feels about you. Now, let me break that down. It's different when you recommend music to a friend. If you and your friend are hanging out and you say, yo man, check this guy out. Your friend listens to him, they say, oh man, this is whack. Okay, he didn't like it. Moving right along. There's a difference between that and when your business is gonna get ramifications if somebody doesn't like it. Or you're gonna get fired if somebody doesn't like it. And that is what position companies are in. So if somebody listens to your music and they like it and they say, oh man, this is a great song, I really enjoy listening to this song, they still need some type of proof that it's not just them. Because if Symphonic sent your music to play Apple Music or Spotify and they didn't like it, and they sent them another record and they didn't like it, and they keep sending these guys records that they don't like, they develop a reputation for sending bad music. And the ramification of that is those people stop paying attention to Symphonic's pitches, and they can't get nobody playlisted, and their whole infrastructure with pitching and everything dies. So that's where what you got going on comes in play. Because if they like the music and then they look into you and they see, well, this guy's got fans, then it's like, okay, well, now we can really make a pitch for this guy because we see that it's not just us. Other people like his music too. And that is not something that is purely represented in numbers. Like, that's not something that you can just say, okay, well, this guy gets 100,000 streams. That tells us that people like his music. They look much deeper. And there are different analytics tools that these platforms use. And again, we go into this stuff in the deep dive. For members, we cover some of these companies and stuff like that. So, if you want to take a look at that and dig into that, become a member, join and start going through the drive and everything, and you'll see all of that stuff. But yeah, they're looking for deeper metrics that indicate that the artist actually has fandom and has people that really like them and their music to connect with the fact that they like their music. Now, if they really, if they're just completely blown away, then all bets are off. All those cards are off the table. They might not even care whether you have a fan base or not. They might just listen to the music and say, well, this person might not have the means to make all of these things happen, but their talent is off the charts and we're going to take it upon ourselves to make something of it. So there's the possibility of that. Now, when it comes to Symphonic overall, who's it for? Symphonic is for artists that I would say are more structured. They might be their marketing guy. They might have a marketing guy or a marketing team or something like that. They got some okay to decent numbers. They have a small fan base or even like a middle type size fan base. And they got stuff going on, man. They got people who are talking about them. They can get like a few people, like maybe 100 people or so, to participate in a pre-save or a pre-order or a premiere of a music video or something to that extent. And the reason why I feel like Symphonic would be best for artists in that position is because it's like, if you are not in that position, then you probably don't have the things that you would need to take advantage of, like their playlist pitching and their feature placement stuff. Like, you just won't have the things that you would need to take advantage of that. Like, you can't provide them the information and the tools that they would need to make an effective pitch. So if you are an artist that is like at the beginning stages and you don't have any of that stuff going on, then, you're just pretty much sacrificing 15% of your revenue, which is sacrificing 15% of your revenue for like the same kind of distribution that you could get anywhere else. Now, if you are in a different position, then might be more beneficial to you to work with Symphonic and have them pitch your music and stuff like that, because a lot of distributors offer playlist pitching and things like that, and will have a different kind of relationship with you if you sell more than the average artist that uses them. But Symphonic seems to have a clearer pathway to that. You know, it's not like, okay, well, we're looking at what we're looking at, and if we see something we like, then we'll make a move. It's more so you can kind of like push the issue a little bit and bring yourself to their attention and allow them to help you, you know. So doing that though requires you having other things in tow. Now, if you use Symphonic and you would like to contribute to the Pay Us No Mind community by providing access to something like your a royalty report, or the back end where we can look at how Symphonic presents statistical data and things of that nature, definitely reach out to me. We could do like a video chat with screen share, something like that. I even give you some Pay Us No Mind coins that you could exchange for like a free month of membership to Pay Us No Mind, or give you a free consultation right there on the phone while we're in the video chat or whatever have you. So if you want to contribute something, definitely reach out to me. You can hit me up at the number that you see in the video, or if you don't have, like if you're not in the States, you can hit me up on WhatsApp or whatever. It's a contact link in the description box as well. For all you guys, y'all know y'all can hit me up at Pay Us No Mind on Instagram, at Pay Us No Mind on Twitter, payusnomind@gmail.com. This is Gift, signing off. Pay Us No Mind. Peace, good people. One.